With the oversaturated world of movies and shows that usually involve world-ending threat like, oh no, the ghost world is about to expand to Earth because this is a superhero show. Remember that, teenagers who are deprived of any love? All of a sudden, there's this show made by a YouTuber called The Edge of Sleep. Now, this is a very interesting show, not because it's made by a YouTuber, or at least, but it has no marketing whatsoever. So on the release date, they released the trailer and the series at the same time, which led to literally zero people talk about this on the internet at all. The Edge of Sleep is a grounded horror series based on a podcast of the same name. It follows Dave, played by Markiplier himself conveniently, and his friend Mateo, who just found out that people started to die when they fall asleep. This led to them to catch up with two other people, Linda and Katie. They eventually have to try and solve this very ambiguous mystery while risking their well-being by trying to stay awake at any given time, creating tensions between characters on how the hell can they protect each other when their own guts could just flip and tell themselves to fall asleep. While the concept is fairly simple, people die when they sleep, so don't sleep, but the execution in the story, especially with what the characters had to face with the consequence of the plot, is so eerily detailed to the point that it makes you care for these characters while also keeping you at the edge of the seat because obviously in the story, nowhere is safe, and you're trying to stay awake for as long as the human body can. Again, the story paid great attention on that aspect, making every journey incredibly challenging, and it helps the stakes given the show is very small scale. However, the selling point that made me a bit immersed and ended up liking the show is that it had a very consistent pacing. It went in a fast and flow rhythm because of the ambiguity of the antagonistic element of the story. You and the characters really know next to nothing about this unfortunate event, and it stayed that way up until the end. Now, because this is a show made by a YouTuber, or at least, again, and with a very low budget, you're gonna have some big flaws. For example, due to budget constraint, this show really lacks the detail of the world building, like certain places that have some connections with the character weren't shown fully, some characters often doing problem solving by going, okay, got it. Now I got it guys, yay! And it happened so quickly. And all of that is because the show is very short, it only has 6 episodes, and each only had a runtime of 19 to 21 minutes, which is incredibly short for a live-action series. This caused a lot of major subplots being crammed in just one episode, especially some things that's supposed to be subtle and ambiguous had to be executed in the exact opposite way, like, oh, did you notice that thing A has connection with thing B? If you don't, I'll show you on the screen here. It's the main reason why the show isn't scary at all, which is so disappointing. And also, every time I watch and continue the story, I physically just don't want to be there because first, the world building and short runtime obviously, but second is how fucking shallow the protagonist is. Now, to compliment, Markiplier as a YouTuber is someone who knows very well in storytelling, since he played a lot of single-player story-based games, so I'm very grateful that he's willing to go out of his way to create a movie based on a random horror game that not many people played or heard of. Unfortunately, he is very inexperienced in acting. So in the show, his character Dave would just react to any situation like this. Wow, 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 wow. And it's so funny because my favorite character in the show is Mateo. In the beginning, he is being shown as just one-dimensional black guy. But as the story progresses, he became someone you really want to rely on, when the person you're supposed to root for is just a human equivalent of a Roomba, you sucking up shit for no reason. So, is The Edge of Sleep good, bad, mid, 7 out of 10? Well, it is a great start if you want to watch something grounded. But if you're someone who's already into this grounded mystery flick, someone who likes to watch something like Squid Game, Silo, Succession, Chernobyl, and yes, I'm talking about you, cousin, then this is not a show for you. As much as The Edge of Sleep shows great qualities in the characters that are deprived of any necessity in order for the story to continue, it also lacks some qualities on the other detailed aspect that's supposed to make the show more immersive, more believable, and more intense. Though it's really up to you, would you watch it or not? I really appreciate if you made it to the end, and if you have any thoughts on the show to those who have watched it, then leave it in the comment section. I'm happy to hear about it. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, then feel free to subscribe because it helps me make better content every time, and I'll see you later. Peace!